So I'm just curious. I've done a couple of these already, and I'm just curious by nature. So maybe you could just start with explaining how you got into working with Beckstone. Maybe even going back to starting if you set up self-directed IRA, what that process was like, and then how you got to Beckstone in the first place. Maybe just a brief overview.
Sure. So I had a defined benefit plan that was terminating, and it was a lot more expensive for me to keep it. And so my benefit coordinator says, this is the best time to get out. And he kind of led me through the leaving of my defined benefit plan. But in the meanwhile, that's still not working out. Of course, during that time, I have to kind of look around to see who can now manage my IRA because I'm not yet retirement age.
Right.
And I can't manage it myself. So I have come across the term of self-directed IRA. And I looked around to see who can manage it and came up with a company. And once I put my name in, all of a sudden, everybody wants to contact me. It's like, we can be your person. But no one ever told me that there's a self-directed IRA. But in the meanwhile, with all these companies that send me emails, your company came up with a how to do self-directed IRA with the best investment, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I clicked and I listened to some of your spiel that you have and the investments that you have, and it sounded good.
Yes.
And then it was followed by a phone call from either Tim or Kevin. I don't remember who it is, but they were very accommodating. I said, hey, listen, I can only talk to you between 7:30 and 8. That's the only time I have. I can't talk to you any other time. And they listened to me. And they actually heard what I said about what I need to do, what my situation is, and they tried to find the best investment for me. And so it's the personal touch of knowing what I need. They listened, basically. And that's how I ended up investing with you guys.
Well, listening doesn't always happen these days, does it? So it's,
I know it doesn't.
you really appreciate it when somebody does. And
and it's nice.
Yeah. So I've been through a terminated defined benefit plan as well, and it takes the actuaries a little time to come up with the account balances, and because they're all interest rate sensitive, so you're probably getting a little frustrated, like I remember being. So it does take a little time to go through that process.
So actually the money I'm playing with now is not even my defined benefit plan money. It's just my own thing that I'm playing with, just to get my feet wet to make sure I'm comfortable.
Right. So are you setting up an LLC to own real estate?
I already set that up already.
Okay, well, good. So you're just kind of getting your toe in the water and getting started and experience the service and everything.
Yep, I'm playing with little money. I have bigger money, but just playing with little money for now.
Yeah. So maybe you can share with me when it comes to the real estate investing, what is it that seemed to connect with you and the features and benefits, and how did you make a decision that this is right for you?
It's very simple. I have to do nothing. I don't have to apply for a loan. It's a non-recourse loan. I have to do nothing. I'm pre-qualified based upon my own merit.
Right.
And I don't have to get that phone call. My toilet's broken.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. The wind blew it off.
Well, So I heard earlier today from somebody that the non-recourse loan interest rate was lower than if they were, it saved them a lot of money over the investment fees that they were paying somewhere else. And so it made it pretty easy to get into the real estate.
Right. And you guys did all.
Yeah. So when you looked at real estate, what were the features that you really appreciated the most about real estate? What was it that you heard about from Tim or Kevin that you appreciated that seemed to connect with what your investment goals were?
You guys did the geography. You told me what the growth factor was and what the economic drives that bring people there and what keeps people there. and how it is a developing area, the demand, supply, and it just makes sense, the numbers, because I think all investors now, they're looking for what numbers work for them. It's not so much of, the house is beautiful with plywood. We don't care about that. Talk numbers to me. If the numbers seems right, that's what it is. I don't care if it's in the slum, If it works, it works. It's numbers.
Right. Well, plus the supply and demand factor, though, protects your downside and provides an upside. Yeah.
Correct.
So I'm just, when you looked at real estate, how much did you appreciate the cash flow versus the long-term appreciation? Which one of those do you think was the biggest driver for you to help you get
comfortable? For
me,
since I'm new with you guys, I'm looking at the cash flow.
Okay.
But once I get more comfortable, then I want the long-term appreciation as well. Who wouldn't want that, But some of the investment things I've gone with, like reality shares, certain investments are belly flopping.
Yep.
And you're thinking, oh my gosh, when I invest with these people, I don't have a face-to-face person. I can't call up a 515 area code and talk to Tim or Kevin and understand what's going on. And you have no one to be accountable for. So I'm shifting away from that crowd platform, real estate, and dealing with something that I actually have a note. It's a lot nicer.
Yeah. Well, and you're a few years away from retirement, and I'm getting closer to that. And it really, the cash flow aspect of it is really the most important when you decide to cash your last paycheck and you start living off your investments. It's really about cash flow.
Right.
Even though the market value does matter, at the end of the day, if you sold the real estate, you'd have to get a similar cash flow from something else, which is
correct.
Which is difficult to do.
Right.
So one of the questions I like to ask is, and sometimes I gain clarity on what how people feel about their investment and what drove them to it, is every once in a while people talk to other people about their retirement investing. And I'm just curious if anybody's ever asked you, what you do, and maybe you just give them a brief statement, but about what you appreciate most. But what do you tell other people, if you do talk to other people, about retirement investing and why you selected something like this?
Well, no one really looks at me for retirement investing because I'm too young. They think I know nothing, so.
So this is great. You're getting started. You've got a good start. You're getting some money from the cash out of a defined benefit plan, so you can take control of that. So that is a nice situation to be in. So having quite a few years to accumulate that cash and keep reinvesting it. So that is very, very beneficial. So as far as moving forward, what are some of the things that you're really going to pay attention to so you just really get comfortable about continuing to expand potentially in more investments with Beckstone or just in real estate in common? What are some of the things that you're really going to be paying attention to?
Pretty much the same thing. More, like you said, it's the cash flow. And I want to know how many years it's going to be tied up for. And at the end, with the distribution, I can typically, since you don't really need that funds once you're investing it, roll over into another project. Right. It would only make sense.
Yep. So just keep moving forward, and and then of course always having access when you have questions or if something comes up, you're looking for service.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the peace of mind thing. If you're not talking voice, it's very, very difficult, especially somebody that you don't have to bring up to speed. That's one of the frustrating things for me, is getting the opportunity to tell somebody else the same story. It's not just being able to have people to call. So, another question, kind of the closing question I've been asking, is because Tim and Kevin and everybody is really wanting to make sure they continue to improve. And it's been my experience that the best place to get some ideas on how to best improve is ask your clients. And so if there was anything at all that, if you think back to the experience working with Tim and Kevin, what, if anything, could you coach them on that they could have done a little bit differently or better to just make it a little better experience for you?
Right. Well, typically, don't know, I can't talk for everyone, but for me, when I'm looking at investments, I would need to know, like, okay, some numbers, being a woman and a busy woman, I need numbers on email and things like that. So he would just throw numbers at me and like, okay, I guess it makes sense, but you can't go back and sleep on it, and how people typically sleep on it is they look at the numbers like this and then they think about it, they sleep on it. So it's got to be in writing somewhere. And I know he types it down and things like that, but to have it on a professional piece of paper to make it more credible, if you will, rather than, well, this is what I said and I'm just typing down what I said, it makes it more credible. And to have like a sheet on the property that talks to you about how long the equity hold is, what the IRR is, what the return rate is, things like that. If you go on one of the crowd platforms, like crowdstreet.com, realityshares.com, they have all these properties with the addresses, with all the pictures, and like 6 keys financial numbers that people look for, the real estate people look for. You guys have the personal touch, which is like really, really key, but at the same time, we're comfortable in seeing certain numbers that we compare against. And you don't have that, so it makes you like mistrust just a little bit because you don't have that professional presentation mode. Just like going out and you don't have a business card, people are going to say, are you sure you're in business? Where's your business card? That kind of thing. That's all.
Right. Yeah, just to clean that up and to what you were talking about with the example that you used is, the 6 key numbers. But what you're really looking for is kind of almost an executive summary type of thing to
of course.
Really, right. And then just
and then the other thing too, I was telling Tim that my first email that came from the staff, whoever it is at Beckstone, that says, oh, this amount has been deposited into your account. But I don't have a statement that says that, an official looking statement, and you don't have a website that has a portal that allows you to see what your investment is, how much you've made, that kind of thing. So to have that, it's really good. You can log on at like midnight and say, oh, okay, my investment is safe. It's being held right there. I can see what I have, what I've made in interest versus equity, stuff like that. That's important.
Yes. So just continue to build and refine those tools because at the end of the day, what I'm hearing you say is that's really important to have that peace of mind and continue to build that trust and when I think about investment theories, I think of the sleep theory. If I'm not sleeping at night, then something's maybe not right. So, but it's what you're really looking for is just having something that gives you a little bit more reassurance. And even in the sales process up front. So that's really good advice. And thank you for Tim mentioned that you would be open, honest, and really be helpful with those type of questions. So I appreciate that a lot.
Sure.
Is there anything else that you might have a question of me while you have me on the phone, or anything at all?
Not really.
Well, I was witnessing the challenge with the technology, and I can be an impatient person, so I'm very, very thankful for how you held in there. So that was very good, and I'm sure Tim and Kevin really appreciate your help. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you.